There's an incredible power in standing naked in front of a bunch of people.
And later, Ewan's real-life nightmare.
I must just have looked like a man who was going to kill somebody if they stopped me.
Hi, I'm Jules Asner. Welcome back to Ewan McGregor Revealed. In 1987, 16-year-old Ewan desperately wanted to be an actor. With the support of his parents, he dropped out of school.
I got out and a week later was working in the theatre in Perth as part of the backstage crew. So I helped build the sets and move the scenery during the shows and started learning about what it was I wanted to do, you know, started learning about my stuff. And I worked there for 6 months and got little walk-on parts and stuff now and again, but really got a chance to watch actors and see, learn about the discipline backstage and how a theatre works, because I had no idea.
Ewan did go back to school, studying acting and stagecraft for a year at Kirkcaldy College of Technology in nearby Fife, Scotland. After that, he spent almost 3 years at the Guildhall School of Music and Drama in London.
There was a certain buzz about him already, and so being a diligent little agent, I went along and to see him graduate.
He had offers from 11 agents, which is fairly staggering. And he came round to see me and he said, I've got all these agents to see. And I said, well, look, you tell me, let's go through them and tell me who they are. And he said, no, don't do that. I'm just going to go and see them and see how I feel.
I would love to say that I was unbelievably perspicacious, say, oh God, I saw in him something that nobody else did. Wrong. There was a feeding frenzy, because he was extraordinary.
Ewan didn't wait for graduation before landing his first paying job, a lead role in a British TV miniseries.
The first thing I ever did was something called Lipstick on Your Collar with Dennis Potter.
Later that year, Ewan made his movie debut in a Robin Williams film, but his role was far from memorable. I'd
been what they called an English acting extra in a film called Being Human, which was I don't think, seen. And that annoyed me on many counts. Firstly, because I'm not an extra and I'm not English, so I didn't know why I was being called that. But I spent a month in Morocco where I shot Black Hawk Down in 92 or 92, I think, to say one line. I had a month there. It was a fantastic holiday.
From there, it was on to a theatre gig in England, where the young Scotsman learned to bear more than just his soul.
I was naked on stage once doing a play called What the Butler Saw, and there's an incredible power in standing naked in front of a bunch of people, because they're not, and nor would they ever. And you are, and you can, and you're not being arrested for it and all that stuff, and it makes you feel quite, it's sort of like swimming naked or something. It's nice, it's a good feeling.
This was the beginning of a trend for Ewan, but more about that later. Critics raved about Ewan's performance with and without clothes, and British TV executives took notice. They cast him in a lead role in the miniseries Scarlet and Black.
I was sent for, Madame.
They'd been looking for somebody for Scarlet and Black for ages. I mean, there'd been a sort of massive kind of open casting and lots of people tested and everything. And I remember just shouting with delight and sort of yelling down the phone, yes, it's happened.
Ewan was now on a roll. It was inevitable that he would land on the big screen, this time as more than just an extra.
Shallow Grave was my first kind of proper role in a feature film.
Yeah.
And an exciting thing to be part of, because as it was the first film for Danny Boyle to direct, the first film for Andrew McDonald to produce, the first movie that John Hodge had written, and it was, for all of us, our first movie, you know, so there was a very risky, brave feeling to it. And as a result, it's a very kind of risky, brave film, I think. A film where the three leads in it are kind of not very nice,
yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that's good too. I don't go with the kind of, you know, well, you don't like them. Well, so, do you like everyone in the world? Should we not make films about the people we don't like? When I saw that it first cut together, and I went, wow.
There was something very controversial about Ewan's next film, Trainspotting, the story of 4 heroin addicts.
And then when Danny came to you to talk about Trainspotting, were you in immediately?
Well, they do this funny thing where they never like tell you that it's yours, right? They gave me the script in Sundance, and still it was like, we're not offering you the part, but just read the script and let us know what you think. So I started reading Trainspotting, and it's like a terrible moment when you realize that this part has to be mine, you know. It's terrible because there's a lot riding on it then. And I kept turning the pages going, oh my God, better and better and better. And it really was one of those very rare moments where you read the leading part of your dreams, you know.
And you really transformed yourself. You lost close to 30 pounds.
Yeah, I don't know about pounds, 2 stone,
Yeah.
I don't know what that is. And we still kind of work in stones. 1 stone, 2 stones. So I lost 2 big stones.
Yeah. But I mean, you really took it on to have that kind of, it was that heroin
It's very important.
chic. Yeah.
It wasn't heroin chic for me, it was heroin addict. And for me, that was really important. Danny made it clear that he wanted me to really get skinny and thin and wasted. And I went about doing that, and he didn't see me for quite a while then. And then when I met him the next time, he was quite taken aback by how much weight I'd lost. And then we decided that day to have my hair shaved off for it and stuff. It was a very specific look, that sequence at the beginning where he's in his vest smoking and bending over backwards, which I saw a guy doing. I saw a heroin addict doing that in a train station in Luxembourg when I was making Pillow Book. I used to go to the train station to watch the addicts down there and see what they did. And I watched this guy, and in Scotland it's called gouching. I don't know what they call it here, but where a heroin addict kind of just goes, and he was going forward and forward and forward, and then he could catch himself. And he was having an argument with the guy, and then he would disappear again, and then he went backwards until he was lying flat on the ground, you know. And I just thought it was such an amazing thing to see. It was so bizarre. Like his body was keeping balance and everything, but it was just the weirdest thing I'd ever seen. I thought, we've got to try and get that in the film.
I think he's attracted to the dark side because he loves exploring the dark side of people's psyche and the dark side of their life in order to taste it and experience it.
Ewan's work in Trainspotting earned him several awards. In fact, he was so convincing that Ewan wound up in some real-life trouble with the law. When Revealed continues